Welcome to our show, Trump Briefing. Today, we have some exciting updates starting with Chicago teachers who have successfully negotiated a new 4-year contract without striking for the first time in over a decade. This agreement brings pay raises, more hires, and smaller class sizes, though there's still some concern over the district's funding situation. Next up, President Trump had a significant meeting with El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele, discussing immigration and the deportation strategy. Bukele's tough stance on gangs has made him a key ally for Trump, and they even touched on the controversial topic of transgender athletes. This meeting underscores the ongoing political dynamics surrounding immigration and gender rights in sports. Lastly, former Congressman Mike Rogers is back in the political arena, launching a campaign for the U.S. Senate in Michigan after a narrow loss in 2024. With no incumbent in the race, it's anticipated to be highly competitive. Rogers is leveraging his name recognition and support for Trump to appeal to voters. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. The Toronto Star, in a significant development for Chicago's public school teachers, a new 4-year contract has been reached without the looming threat of a strike for the first time in over a decade. This agreement, which promises pay raises, the hiring of additional teachers, and limits on class sizes, comes amidst a backdrop of considerable turmoil, including the firing of the school superintendent and the resignation of the entire school board. The Chicago Teachers Union, buoyed by the support of the newly elected Mayor Brandon Johnson, managed to navigate a complicated negotiation process that saw over 700 requests from union members. The final deal, which costs approximately $1.5 billion, is seen as a progressive step towards addressing the needs of the district's predominantly low-income and minority student population. The Toronto Star, President Trump recently met with El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele at the White House, highlighting the Central American nation's role in the U.S. administration's mass deportation strategy. Bukele's government has been instrumental in accepting deported Venezuelan immigrants, whom the Trump administration has accused of gang involvement. During their meeting, the two leaders discussed various topics, including the controversial issue of transgender athletes, with Bukele characterizing it as a form of violence. Trump, while praising Bukele's efforts to control immigration, faced questions regarding the fate of individuals like Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, a man caught in a legal battle over his deportation. The meeting underscored Bukele's popularity in El Salvador as he continues to crack down on gang violence, making him a crucial ally for Trump's hardline immigration policies. The Toronto Star, in Michigan, former U.S. Representative Mike Rogers has announced his candidacy for the U.S. Senate, aiming to secure a seat that has not been held by a Republican in over 3 decades. Following a narrow defeat in the previous election, Rogers is now vying for the position being vacated by Democratic Senator Gary Peters. His campaign is marked by a strong alignment with President Trump, promising to bring manufacturing jobs back to Michigan. As the race heats up, Democrats are looking to maintain their hold on the Senate seat without the benefit of an incumbent, while Rogers enters with heightened name recognition and a clearer strategy. The political landscape is shaping up to be highly competitive, with several candidates already eyeing the open seat, making it a focal point in the upcoming elections. The Toronto Star reports that Liberal leader Mark Carney has publicly condemned the actions of his party's campaign staffers who planted buttons at a Conservative conference in Ottawa, which bore provocative slogans like "Stop the Steal." This incident, initially uncovered by CBC News, has drawn significant criticism, prompting Carney to label the behavior as totally unacceptable. He expressed his ignorance of the situation prior to being informed and offered a heartfelt apology, while also revealing that those responsible for the incident have been reassigned within the campaign. Carney's campaign strategy has been focused on portraying Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre as ill-equipped to handle threats from former President Donald Trump, making this incident particularly damaging to his party's image. Yahoo US highlights the ongoing uncertainty surrounding the implementation of a proposed no tax on overtime policy, which has been stalled since the House narrowly passed a budget bill in February. This initiative, endorsed by President Trump, aims to exempt federal income tax on overtime pay, thereby allowing workers to retain more of their hard-earned income. The House's spending bill, which also includes provisions to eliminate taxes on tips and Social Security benefits, is currently awaiting Senate approval. While the House has a deadline to pass budget bills by June 30, the Senate's timeline remains unclear, leaving many workers in limbo regarding potential changes that could significantly impact their financial well-being. Deutsche Welle explores the hypothetical perspective of the late Susan Sontag on the current political climate under President Trump. Known for her incisive social criticism, Sontag's absence from contemporary discourse raises questions about how she would respond to Trump's policies and rhetoric. Cultural historian Bernd Huphoff suggests that Sontag would likely be a vocal critic of Trump's administration, particularly regarding its stance on science and diversity. Despite her reputation as a public moral authority, Huphoff notes that the influence of intellectuals like Sontag has waned in today's political landscape. Sontag's legacy as a mediator between American and European thought, along with her history of activism, would undoubtedly inform her commentary on the complexities of modern governance and the challenges faced by democracy in the era of populism. Nikkei Asia reports that Norinchukin Bank, Japan's agricultural lender, has not sold off significant amounts of U.S. Treasuries in response to the tariffs imposed by the Trump administration. CEO Taro Kitabayashi clarified that the bank's recent profitability, stemming from the sale of low-yield assets, negates the need for drastic market adjustments. Despite speculation about the bank's bond sales, Kitabayashi emphasized a strategic shift towards true diversification, including a reduction in government-backed bonds and increased investments in equities and corporate bonds. The bank's focus will remain on supporting the agricultural sector, indicating a commitment to its foundational mission despite market fluctuations. CBC reports on the fallout from a controversial incident involving Liberal Party staffers who planted fake campaign buttons at a conservative event in Ottawa. Liberal leader Mark Carney condemned the act as totally unacceptable and announced that the responsible staffers were reassigned. The buttons, which mimicked Trump-style rhetoric and aimed to sow division within the Conservative Party, sparked outrage from opponents, who accused the Liberals of importing divisive American politics into Canada. Carney's swift response underscores his commitment to maintaining ethical standards within his campaign, as he publicly apologized and took accountability for the actions of his team. The Independent highlights a drastic decline in European visitors to the United States, with British Airways responding by slashing flight prices to attract travelers. Official data indicates a 17% drop in European arrivals, attributed to stricter immigration policies initiated by Trump, which have fostered negative sentiments towards the U.S. Despite this downturn, British Airways is offering competitive fares for summer travel, hoping to fill seats amid the slump. Industry experts remain cautiously optimistic, noting that demand for U.S. travel remains robust among UK travelers, with predictions of a rebound in tourism as airlines adjust their strategies to meet consumer needs. CBC Meta Platforms, the parent company of Facebook, is facing a pivotal trial in Washington over allegations of creating an illegal monopoly by acquiring Instagram and WhatsApp for billions, a move claimed to have stifled competition and solidified Facebook's dominance in social media. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission, FTC, which initiated the case in 2020 during Donald Trump's presidency, argues that these acquisitions were strategic maneuvers to eliminate potential rivals and seeks to dismantle Meta's control by possibly forcing the sale of these platforms. Meta's legal chief, Jennifer Newstead, dismissed the case as weak, arguing it undermines tech investment while highlighting the absurdity of targeting a successful American enterprise amid ongoing efforts to regulate foreign competitors like TikTok. As the trial unfolds, Meta's CEO Mark Zuckerberg is expected to testify, facing scrutiny over emails that suggest his intent to neutralize competition through these acquisitions. The FTC's challenge lies in defining the competitive landscape, as it excludes platforms like TikTok and YouTube from consideration, complicating its argument that Meta holds a monopoly on social sharing services. The potential loss of Instagram, which is projected to generate significant ad revenue, could be disastrous for Meta, making this case a critical moment not just for the company, but for the future of big tech regulation in the U.S. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.